Fundraising training for deans and other leaders in higher education. Hi, this is Bill Stanczykiewicz, and this is the first day from the Fundraising School. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Dr. Jen Shaker. Jen is a professor at the Indiana University Lilly Family School of Philanthropy, as well as an instructor here at the Fundraising School. Her research spans several topics, including workforce giving, the fundraising profession, fundraising from celebrities, and also she's the co-author of the book with Dr. Aaron Conley, Fundraising Principles for Faculty and Other Higher Education Administrators. And Jen, great to have you back with us on the Fundraising Schools podcast.
Thanks, Bill. It's great to be here.
So you and Aaron wrote this book about faculty, higher education leaders. Why? What is unique and distinct about this group of leaders in the philanthropic sector?
Faculty and academic leaders have a unique opportunity to convey the vision of the organization, right? So of higher education, of their college, of their department. So they are the vision bearers of higher education. And as such, we need them in philanthropic fundraising because they are delivering the mission.
Jen, throughout their lives, these are the folks who not just liked school, they have loved school. They succeeded as students. They did initial research to earn their doctoral degrees. They discovered more knowledge as researchers. They taught. And then along the lines, somebody said, you have an administrative gift. Or they said, hey, I kind of like to lead. And they become the department chair. They become an associate dean, a dean, maybe even provost or president. Nowhere along those lines did we ever mention fundraising or fundraising training. And yet more than ever before, our higher education leaders, including our faculty, are being asked to fundraise. What are you seeing in this higher education landscape, and why is training for this group so important?
Bill, you are so right. We and I'm a faculty member, and in the curriculum that you experience when you are on this pathway, there is not a class in fundraising. And so we may find ourselves in these roles without the experience in that. We may have lots of other experiences and lots of great knowledge and many things we bring with us, but we may not bring fundraising experience. And that can be really a challenge, an intimidating challenge in an era when people are increasingly asked about building philanthropic support for their unit. And so that is a real thing that happens to deans, to even more now to department chairs, to people who want to direct centers or other kinds of initiatives. They want to build support for their programs. So it's not only that they're being asked to do it, but they can see the potential that philanthropy can bring for the work that is so important. But we don't always do a great job of preparing them to do it.
Jen has been a successful fundraiser in higher education for the better part of 2 decades. And she is sharing her knowledge with Dr. Aaron Conley in this book, Fundraising Principles for Faculty and Other Higher Education Leaders. And Jen, what have you seen throughout your career? And then when you teach this to others, what are some of the maybe biggest concerns that you see from our higher education administrators, or maybe some of the common myths that they might have about fundraising that perhaps make them hesitant to get into fund development for their respective schools?
They can be just like the rest of us, right? In society. I say us, and I mean, I've learned a lot about philanthropy and fundraising in my lifetime, but most people haven't so much. And so they are just like the rest of us when it comes to knowledge that they might have about fundraising and philanthropy. And that can be very limited, and that can be affected by what may have been read in the media or stereotypes that a society may hold when it comes to fundraising. And so we have the privilege of welcoming them into philanthropy and teaching them the art of teaching others the joy of giving, right? These are teachers, these are educators. And so we are just here as fundraisers, as professional development people. We are here to help them find that joy that we know is there. And I can't tell you how many deans I've spoken to who said this was something that they may have feared the most when it came to advancing into the ranks of administration. But then after doing it, they've also told me it was one of the things that they enjoyed and appreciated the most. And so we have a really wonderful opportunity to just bring them to the table with us and go on a journey and meet them where they are and go on the journey from there.
The fundraising school has a custom training course, Fundraising for Deans. And we use deans kind of as a catch-all. We mean higher education leadership, could be associate deans, could be provosts, certainly presidents. And I've had the privilege of teaching that course with Jen. And Jen, one of the kind of gratifications that I receive from teaching that course is once you start teaching what fundraising is and what fundraising is not, and what role these higher education leaders can play, it just, you see this exhale in the room and this calming in this room and the confidence that begins to grow. And, you know, to kind of amplify the point you just made, there perhaps is just not a clear understanding of what fundraising is and what fundraising is not, and the role of these folks in that process. We also welcome chief development officers to this training. And, you know, what have you observed when the CDOs are in the room and they're talking respectfully about, you know, what the expectations are on them from their leaders of their colleges or their departments?
I love being able to provide a venue where people can talk openly to each other about what they need to be successful in their work. And so I've just been lucky enough to be part of some great conversations with development officers and faculty and academic leaders, talking to and learning from each other and thinking about what do we need from each other to reach our greatest potential in this space. And I always do remind the development professionals too that we need to meet the faculty and academic leaders where they are. We need to understand their work, the culture of being a faculty member on colleges and universities these days, and the expectations that are resting on their shoulders. So we are inviting them into our work, and we are asking them to learn about the joy of giving. Well, we also need to take responsibility on our half of the table and meet and get to know what they're working on, what their work life is like, what their schedule is like, what their expertise is. And so I really think about it as being a partnership where all parties meet in the middle, bring expertise, but bring openness to understanding the roles and responsibilities of the other.
We've heard this so often when teaching the course. You know, the chief development officer says, I asked the dean for her assistance, that I need her in, you know, cultivation or stewardship, sometimes even making the ask to tell some stories. Dean, I need your assistance. And the dean says, you already have my assistance. I hired you. You're awesome. Go raise the money. And the chief development officer is like, well, wait, we need the help of our higher education leaders. Jen, what are some of the unique ways that our deans and provosts, presidents, other higher academic leaders can be involved with fundraising? Again, we teach a 14-step fundraising process. We're not asking the higher ed leaders to be involved in all 14 steps. What roles can they play uniquely to help fundraise for their institution?
As we were talking about at the beginning, these are the people who convey the vision, who develop the vision, convey the vision, carry forward the vision, and work to achieve the vision and the mission. And so they are so needed in these conversations with donors who are looking for inspiration, who are looking for the promise of the future. And so the stories that faculty, deans, staff, everyone who is part of the mission brings forward and communicates with the donors and supporters is something that only they can do. You know, we can do a lot, but it means so much to hear the stories, hear about the opportunities and the needs from those people who are on the ground doing the work every day.
One of the biggest takeaways from this custom training course, Fundraising for Deans, and again, we use that title kind of as a catch-all for all higher education leadership, is to be the dean. You're already capturing stories about your students, about your faculty, research discoveries that are happening, about your alumni, other developments at the school, your partnerships in external relationships with external stakeholders. You're doing all that already. Just want to help you translate that with your chief development officer to effectively fundraise for your school and your institution. Dr. Jen Shaker, along with Dr. Aaron Conley, they have co-authored Fundraising Principles for Faculty and Academic Leaders. And Jen is our lead instructor on this custom training course, Fundraising for Deans. And we're glad to bring that to your college, your department, your university. We can do that in person. We can do that online in the United States and anywhere across the world. And that is true of all of our custom training. We have more than 24 public courses that are available in our course registry. And then we can deliver those courses directly to your nonprofit. We can borrow from different courses and tailor make a course just for you. You can also do that for your county, for your association, again, online and anywhere across the world. We have 4 certificates that we offer. And of course, we have our textbook, which Jen is the lead co-editor of Achieving Excellence in Fundraising, the 5th edition. You receive a free copy when you register for Principles and Techniques of Fundraising. We also have our quarterly webinars and these free podcasts, all available on our website at philanthropy.iupui.edu/the fundraising school. So grateful for my colleague, Dr. Jen Shaker, being with us today on the Fundraising Schools podcast. Our producers today are Jennifer Boffman and Mike Anthony. I'm Bill Stanczykiewicz, and now you are now more fully informed on this first day from the Fundraising School.